As the 8th grade administrator here at North Garner Middle School, I'm proud to highlight the work of Paige Lawson. She is an exemplar student that has modeled many of the portraits of a graduate competencies. She excels in communication, personal responsibility, and empathy.
My name is Michelle Oates, and I am the AIG teacher at North Garner Middle School, where I work with Paige Lawson, who is an 8th grade student that I started working with in 7th grade. Her Genius Hour project last year has carried on into this year as she launched her podcast, Her Story, highlighting the adversities of female athletes.
Last year through my school's AIG program, I was able to participate in a Genius Hour project. I could learn, make, create, you name it, about whatever I wanted to. I've always been very passionate about women's sports and seeing equality across the board in athletics. So I chose to create a women's sports podcast.
Paige demonstrates the competency of communication of a portrait of a graduate in many ways. She writes her own question. She carries on natural conversations with the athletes she talks to on her podcast. We've had several ask her what high school she attends, and they just cannot believe it. They're in awe of her when they realize she is a middle schooler. This 8th grade year is moving on into season 3. She has done the artwork for the cover of her podcast. She has an Instagram account. She has followers. The school, we tweet out. The other students look forward to her episodes. She has fallen in love with the art of podcasting, and communication is what she sees in her future. She plans to carry her podcast on into her high school years and has even talked about a communications major in college. So she's looking ahead way down the road with this because she feels so successful. When she decided this was going to be her Genius Hour project, we reached out to Mr. Zirkle and worked with our DLCs through the county to practice using his equipment. We wrote a grant. We got our own podcasting studio. We've gone on location with Paige to NC State, and we have another trip planned this spring. She can completely record, edit, publish completely independently now because of what she's learned. We plan for other students at North Garner to start podcasting, those that are interested, and Paige will be the student expert who will help train them.
Through this podcast, I've had the opportunity to meet with so many amazing female athletes and DLCs throughout Wake County. I use multiple different social media platforms to promote my podcast and interact with the athletes that I interview. This has also led me to wanting to pursue a career in communications.
My name is Chris Zirkle. I'm a digital learning coordinator for the Wake County Public School System. My team and I support staff and students with all things related to educational technology being implemented into the classroom and the learning experiences. My team and I were contacted by Mrs. Oates to come out and meet Paige and talk to her about her podcast. We talked to her about all the work that's involved in getting a podcast started and up and off the ground. Collaboratively, we worked together, my team and Mrs. Oates and Paige, to record multiple episodes out of NC State to give Paige enough episodes to have a first season. She came up with the name of the show, the description, the concept, the format, the artwork, and we have since taught her how to edit on her own, record on her own, and with the help of Mrs. Oates writing the grant, North Garner Middle School now has a mobile podcast studio that Paige can use to record her podcast, but also it's open up to other students at the campus. Paige will also be a leader and be able to help other students go through the process she went through to get her show where it's at now. So go ahead and listen to her story.
Paige demonstrates personal responsibility in many ways. She works on the background research for the athletes she's going to interview during school on her own time. We found out kind of with a short time frame that she had 9 interviews in one day at NC State. I think she had 48 hours, and she got all of the background research done. She had all of her questions ready and was so prepared. She takes it upon herself to keep up with her social media. She really at this point needs very little guidance from me.
This experience has taught me how to be self-driven and responsible. There have been many cases where I've been on a time crunch before recording an episode, trying to get knowledge on the athlete or guiding topics that I want to speak about. It's so vital for me to have self-responsibility, trying to balance school, sports, club sports, being an ambassador for my youth club, and so much more.
Paige is empathetic towards other athletes. In her past, she has seen different ways male and females have been treated differently, whether it's their facilities, their opportunities, the perks males sometimes get over females, and she knew when she saw a particular instance on TV that made her cry, she wanted to do something about this. So she highlights and talks to other female athletes, and the whole theme of her podcast is asking them, what adversities have you seen? How have you been treated differently because you're a female?
Seeing the fights that many professional athletes in the US and other countries have had to put up to gain equality in their sport has made me so passionate about seeing adversity across the board in sports. That's one of the many reasons I started this project. Another reason is I've been there. I've had to experience that. I've had to experience adversities in sports and other aspects of my life.
Hi, I'm Julie Lawson. I'm Paige's mom, and I, of course, am incredibly proud of all that Paige has accomplished through this podcast. But more than anything, I am so thankful that she is a student at North Garner Middle School and that Wake County in the great state of North Carolina, that she has been able to accomplish all this because she's had the support. She's had people, especially Miss Oates, who have been by her side, believing in her, helping, to write this grant and get funding. And it just has meant, as a parent, I've watched it mean so much to Paige to feel, loved and to feel appreciated. And so it's very meaningful that she was even asked to do this video, and for her to be able to really reflect on all that she's learned throughout this entire process and the growth that she's had, learning, personal responsibility, what it means for this podcast to be hers, for her to own that, and just to learn and improve in communication and really take that on as she moves out of the middle school into high school.
Paige has a really bright future ahead. She will continue to demonstrate all of these competencies and inspire others to demonstrate them as well, as she is such a leader in her school and her community.
I hope that when I leave North Garner and Wake County, I inspire the future graduates of Wake County through the work that I do with my project and my actions. I hope that they know that they can do great things as well.